For legal legals exclusively. Bankruptcy Law as amended. Article 313. Effects of sale made in bankruptcy proceedings. 1. Sale made in bankruptcy proceedings has the effect of enforcement sale. The acquirer of the constituents of the bankruptcy estate is not liable for the tax liabilities of the bankrupt, including also the liabilities arising following the declaration of bankruptcy. 2. Sale of real property causes the expiry of the rights as well as personal rights and claims disclosed by way of an entry in the land and mortgage book or undisclosed in this manner but notified to the judge commissioner within the time limit indicated in Article 51, paragraph 1, subparagraph 5. In place of the right which expired, the entitled subject acquires the right to satisfy the value of such expired right with the price obtained from the encumbered real property. Said effect arises upon the conclusion of the sale agreement. The basis to delete the rights which expired as a result of the sale is the final and unappealable distribution plan of the sum obtained from the sale of the encumbered real property. The sale agreement of real property constitutes a basis to delete the mortgage entry from the land and mortgage registry. 3. The following remain in force without setting off their value against the acquisition price: easement of necessity, utility easement, and an easement established in connection with encroaching on the boundary when erecting a building or other installation. A usufruct and an annuitant's right remain in force if they have priority over all the mortgages or if the real property is not encumbered with any mortgages or if the value of the usufruct and the annuitant's rights is fully covered by the acquisition price. However, in the latter case, the value of such rights will be credited towards the acquisition price. 4. Upon application by the owner of the dominant real property submitted at the latest in objections to the distribution plan of the sum obtained from the sale of the encumbered real property, the judge commissioner may decide that the land easement which is not fully covered by the acquisition price may remain in force if it is necessary for the dominant real property and if it does not significantly decrease the value of the encumbered real property. The decision of the judge commissioner may be appealed. If the application for exclusion was made in the objections, then it is processed together with such objections. 5. The provisions of paragraphs 2 to 4 apply respectively to the sale of a perpetual usufruct right, cooperative ownership right to premises, and a seagoing vessel entered in the ship register. 6. The sale of a fractional part of a real property is governed by Articles 1004, 1005, 1007, 1009, 1012, and 1013 of the Polish Civil Procedure Code. Article 314. Sale of an enterprise together with constituents encumbered with limited property rights. In the event of alienation of an enterprise which comprises objects encumbered with limited property rights, the value of the asset constituents encumbered with such rights is subject to the disclosure in the sale agreement, and the obtained price is subject to distribution taking into account Article 336 and 340. 2. The provision of paragraph 1 applies respectively in the event of alienation of an organized part of an enterprise. Article 316. Sale of an enterprise. General recommendations. 1. The bankrupt enterprise must be sold as a whole unless it is not possible. 2. The sale of the bankrupt's enterprise may, for economic reasons, be preceded if the judge commissioner consents thereto by a lease agreement for a definite period of time with the preemption right. 3. Repealed. 4. The sale of the bankrupt's enterprise is announced. Article 317. Administrative succession, the acquirer's liability. 1. All the concessions, permits, licenses, and reliefs granted to the bankrupt pass to the acquirer of the bankrupt's enterprise unless separate statutes provide otherwise. 2. The acquirer may use the designation of the bankrupt's enterprise, comprising the bankrupt's surname, only with the bankrupt's consent. The acquirer of the bankrupt's enterprise acquires it free from any encumbrances, and it is not liable for the bankrupt's liabilities. All encumbrances on the constituents of the enterprise expire, except for the encumbrances listed in Article 313, paragraph 3 and 4. 2a. Article 23, Index 1 of the Act of the 26th June 1974 Labor Code applies accordingly. 3. Upon notification of the court of law, arbitration court, or a body conducting administrative proceedings concerning the acquisition of the bankrupt's enterprise, the acquirer of such enterprise by operation of law replaces the bankrupt or the bankruptcy trustee in any civil, administrative, court administrative proceedings, as well as before arbitration courts proceedings which concern the enterprise or its asset constituents without the other litigants' consent. For legal legals exclusively. Thank you.